Hi guys. Recently I uploaded a video on how we make our string silencers, our puffballs. I go through and I show you how the jig that we use, how we wrap them, how we tie them, how we trim them, and install them into the string. I wanted to do a video this time on where to actually place them on your string. there is there's four different schools of thought on where to place them, and the probably the most basic one is, somebody said, tie them at 10 inches and go, or tie them at 12 inches and go. um, that's probably the simplest way to do it, but it's not scientific, it's not mathematical, anything. Um, so what I want to do is I just touched on that one. I want to touch on the other three. That gives more of a scientific and mathematical approach to it. So noise on traditional equipment, and we're going to key in pretty much specifically on traditional equipment on this. You can do it on a compound, but we're going to specifically keying in on traditional. Okay, so when we're talking bow noise in traditional equipment, there's two big factors. I'm not going to say that they're the only factors, but the two biggest is going to be where your string slaps onto the limb, like on a recurve. You have all this contact point that you lose once you draw the bow. Once you release the string, this is going to slap against your limbs. So you get that noise, and then the other noise that you get is from the string itself. That twang instead of a thud that you get, which is where the string silencers come into. So the noise that comes out of the string is mostly vibration, especially on a longbow. You're getting the vibration noise, which is why we like the puffballs. With the puffballs, the more you shoot them, actually, the more it deadens the sound. And the reason is because you have all of these fibers that are coming apart, untwisting, because it's twisted yarn. So they're untwisting, and then you're getting more of the fibers coming out. And when that happens, it's absorbing more of the vibration, because vibration seeks the path of least resistance. So as these puffballs start coming apart, you start deadening the sound of your bow a little bit more. And I'm not saying it's a massive amount, but it happens. So let's get into, the math. Let's do the mathematical part first. When you have a bowstring, you are going to have harmonics. The noise is caused by harmonics. So mathematically, you want to fall between the fifth and sixth harmonic. And the way that they do that is they divide the string in half. It's just like on a guitar. The 12th fret on the guitar is half of the length of the string, and you get a harmonic there. If you divide that in half again, you're going to get another harmonic and another harmonic and another harmonic each time that you divide them. So on a bowstring, if you divide the length of the string, the 61-inch string, you're going to end up at 30 and a half, and then you're going to divide that again, and then you're going to divide that again, and that again, and that again, until you find the fifth and sixth harmonic. So mathematically, you are at roughly, I think it's 18% of your string is where your fifth and your sixth harmonic falls into. So the mathematical formula for that is you take the 61-inch string and you multiply that by 0.183, and that should give you between your fifth and sixth harmonic, which is 11.16 on a 61-inch string. So on my particular one here, going from knot groove, you come up and we are at 11 and a quarter to the middle of the puffball, which is roughly just a touch over the 11.6 to hit my fifth and sixth harmonic. Now, that's where it was placed in mathematically. I'm going to go out and I'll shoot the bow, and I'll shoot it 3 or 4 times, and I'll, pay attention to the sound, and then we might tweak it a little bit, just move both of them just a touch and shoot it again until we find a spot where it sounds like this, the deadest sound that we got, the quietest sound. Okay, now if we go into the next step, which is based mathematic and science, I guess, a mixture of the two of them, they have what they call the L6 and L10. And the L stands for the length divided by 6, which on a 61-inch string, 6 is 10.1 inch, 10.6 inches, somewhere in there. So that's going to fall roughly in the same spot. And then that's divided by 6 and divided by 10, you're going to get 6.1. So you're going to get closer to the knock on one end of it. So they're trying to cancel out the 5th and 6th harmonic here and maybe the 7th harmonic on the other end. I don't remember exactly what harmonic it's trying to deaden, but it's deadened 2 harmonics to try to keep your harmonics dead. So you're not worrying about the harmonic past the 5th and 6th harmonic on the first one, and this one you're trying to cut down what's past that. Then after that one is just simple, divide it by a quarter and divide it by 3, or a third. So on this one here, if you divide it by a quarter, you're going to get 15 and a quarter, and if you divide it by 3, a third on the other side of it, you're going to get like 20 and a half inches. So you're going to have, one puffball here, or one silencer here, and then you're going to have one roughly where this one's at, somewhere in there. If you go with the latter two, and they're both going to be off center, or they're going to look off center because they're going to be off center, but it will deaden the string, and that's what we're looking for. It's not a beauty contest. So if that's the route you choose, or that's the route that works the best on your bow, then don't worry about where it's placed, as long as it's doing its job. So that's with the longbow. Now with a recurve, it's going to be just a little bit different, because instead of going from knock to knock on the ends of it, you're actually going to where the last point that it touches the limb itself. So I have a 57-inch string on this recurve, but my contact points in between is 48 inches. So if I go with the just multiplying it by 1 or 0.183, I'm going to get roughly 8.5 inches. I think it's 8.7, but roughly 8.5 inches. And then that's where I'm going to set it, and then I'll mess with it once I shoot it and see where it deadens the sound the most. If I do the L6, L10, I'm going to end up with, 8 and 10, I believe it is. I might be off on that. But that would be the L6, and then if I do it, dividing it by a quarter and a third, I'm going to end up with 12 on one side and 16 on the other from the knock ends of it. Which on this short of a string, 12 inches may come into my peripheral vision and not like that. So, but I start all my bows out starting out with multiplying it by 0.183, and then I will actually move the silencers up and down and see if it deadens it or quiets it down anymore. If I feel like I still have an issue with it, I'll do the L6 and L10 and try that, and then you may have to tweak that distance just a little bit also. And obviously the quarter by a third, or quarter and a third, if you want to do it that way, you may have to tweak it just a little bit. These are mathematically and scientific starting points, and we all know that science is not perfect, so you may have to tweak it a little bit. And that's pretty much the 4 different ways to do it. So pick one, and try it out for yourself. See what you like the best, what works the best for you. If you have a different way of doing it, leave it in the comments and let us know. I'd like to try. I try to share information with people, and I learn stuff all the time myself. So if you've got a different way of setting them, let us know. If any of these work for you, let us know. If you just throw them on at 10, 12, 8 inches, or measure it with your fingers or whatever, let us know if that's what works for you. If you like our content, please like and subscribe the video. And we've got a lot of videos that we've got in the can ready to go. Mostly at this point in time, mostly informative videos, but I've got a lot of hunts and stuff that we're going to be doing also. So if you like content, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.